So, in response to the most recent polling data, it appears that Nikki Haley, that dreaded old crone, is uh, is now polling within single digits against Donald Trump in New Hampshire. This unfortunate development has amplified the significance of the Never Nikki movement, in my view. The belief that is substantial for the belief is that a substantial win for Trump in New Hampshire, akin to Iowa, could make it exceedingly difficult for Haley or Ron DeSantis to catch up. Amidst this showdown, Washington is buzzing with rumors about the potential emergence of another alternative candidate. The uh, really majorly financially backed, like the no labels has really has been dominating as far as fundraising goes anyway. They're a group that's been advocating for a unity ticket, and they have gone so far as to file an election interference complaint with the Department of Justice. They allege that opponents, including figures within the Biden administration, have resorted to intimidation, harassment, and fear tactics. Haley, during a recent town hall, seemed to play into this narrative, emphasizing distractions caused by ongoing investigations. At the World Economic Forum, Secretary of State Antony Blinken made headlines by affirming what I would describe as a blank check to Israel. The commitment appears to be robust, raising questions about the extent of support and obligations. Simultaneously, a private snub from Zionist Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about President Biden adds an additional layer of complexity to the already intricate relationship between the United States and Israel. The infamous phase from the river to the sea echoes, but from Netanyahu's voice as he pledges total Zionist dominion over Gaza. Um, Going strongly against the establishment of a Palestinian state. That's why he funded Hamas, and that's why this is happening, because uh, it's really crazy how he can just get away with this. How Netanyahu can just fund the source of conflict that that's been just consuming the public ethos as of late, and he all did it to achieve this goal, as to turn down the possibility of a Palestinian state, which is absolutely fucking shameful. Uh, Genocide Biden's commitment to maintaining military operations in Yemen hasn't gone unnoticed either. In this case, I diagnose Simp Biden, considering his self demeaning interplay of power dynamics akin to a kinky display of financial domination, or as uh, all you fiends would call it, Bindom, between the United States and Israel. A damning report emerges from Uvalde, Texas, shedding light on the tragic events that unfolded at Robb Elementary School in 2022. The Justice Department's scathing assessment points to a series of fatal mistakes made by over 300 responding officers, mistakes that may have cost the lives of innocent children. The report highlights poor coordination, training deficiencies, and a lack of leadership as contributing factors to what is described as a colossal failure in a law enforcement response, a typical law enforcement response. The chaos that ensued from the mass shooting revealed missteps, miscommunications, and a lack of preparedness, ultimately resulting in the loss of 21 lives, including 19 students. Uvalde officials are now facing the music as they review the report and await findings from an independent investigation. The delay in response provided the active shooter with additional time, impacting the survivability of victims. This failure to assure leadership roles, to ensure leadership roles function at their full capacity and establish clear incident command further exacerbated the situation, leading to tragic consequences. As parents grapple with the aftermath, frustrations mount over the shifting stories and perceived lack of transparency. And, in my opinion anyway, just a lack of interest, lack of empathy. Adam Martinez, a vocal critic and a father of a surviving student, articulates a collective desire for accountability, calling for those responsible to face consequences. On a different note, the specter of a government shutdown loomed. But a short-term funding agreement has averted that scenario for now. The backstory reveals an interesting dynamic, with the Conservative Freedom Caucus attempting to attach H.R. 2 to the spending bill, emphasizing immigration and border security. However, GOP House Speaker Mike Johnson and allies thwarted this effort, setting the stage for potential repercussions, especially in an election year dominated by discussions on these issues. A deeper rift among Republican leaders is emerging, pitting Trump against Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Trump's directive to Republicans not to back compromises with Democrats on the U.S.-Mexico border, even at the cost of even at the cost of funding for Ukraine's war with Russia, underscores a pivotal battle for the future of the Republican Party's policymaking. Shifting to international affairs, President Biden asserts that U.S. airstrikes against Houthi terrorists in the terrorists. No. Scratch that out. I did not. No. Stupid line. Against Houthis in the Red Sea will persist until the disruption in the region concludes. The concern is that the Israel Hamas conflict may escalate further, involving countries like Pakistan and Iran, the latter backing the Houthi rebels. In the realm of domestic affairs, the Weekly Rewind encapsulates the political landscape, from Trump's dominance in the Republican Iowa caucuses to developments in the Uvalde Police Department's response to a school shooting. The significant failures outlined in the Justice Department's report underscore the need for accountability, as I laid out earlier. And House Republicans are advancing with the impeachment of Homeland Security Secretary uh, Mayorkas over his handling of the border crisis, a move criticized by the White House as unconstitutional. This marks a significant development, as it could be the first impeachment of a cabinet secretary since 1876. And again, on the whole global stage, the U.S. has made an ongoing commitment to continue rounds upon rounds of military strikes against Houthi rebels, while Pakistan conducts these new coming conflicts and airstrikes against Iran. And I just talk about divide and conquer here. I should do a whole separate video on the Pakistan-Iran situation. I would honestly argue that Pakistan is kind of like Israel, like they were created from partition, from a British mandate, and they really don't have, like, many countries can pride themselves on the fact that they established themselves against their former oppressors or their former masters as as an achievement, overthrowing their dominion over them. Well, meanwhile, Pakistan and Israel, they owe their nation's existence not through earning it through warfare, but I mean, yes, not earning it, but getting it through warfare, but warfare that has been conducted in such a dishonorable way against India and against the Palestinian people. That's just the way that I view that, and so that's probably why Pakistan, in an effort to hinder Iranian interests around the Middle Eastern area, has decided to engage in this conflict with Iran. Now, an agreement between the Zionist ethno-state and Hamas, the infamous Hamas. I wouldn't call them as bad as Israel, but I don't embrace Hamas. I embrace Fatah. But a potential agreement that aims to provide aid to Gaza and medicine to Israeli hostages, offering a glimpse into the ongoing complexities into this conflict. That's how I see it anyway. It really is offering a glimpse of all the complexities. So that there is going to be an agreement. It's kind of, if Bibi Netanyahu didn't fund Hamas before the hostages were taken, these hostages wouldn't, or I'm going to call them. I'm not even going to call them hostages anymore. I'm going to call them prisoners. These prisoners would have never been taken, and Israel has now just at this point, they've killed too many of their own people, their own quote unquote hostages, prisoners now. Uh, you know, and so, like, this is just really throwing a bone to those poor souls out there who, I mean, hey, I've seen, from what I've seen, way more positive looking documentation on how Hamas treats their prisoners especially compared to how the Zionist ethno state treats their Palestinian prisoners. And so, I just want to get on to one last thing. This severe cold weather across the United States has led to record or near record low temperatures in many cities, particularly affecting the South and Gulf Coast. So I want to say to everybody who is watching or who is going to watch, stay warm and bundled up, and I will see you next time.